Xiaomi T series has always been a nightmare for Samsung and even other companies, because you really get the specifications of a full flagship, even a bunch of new features, but the money you pay is a bit far from a flagship. This is the review of the Xiaomi 12T Pro, so let's do it. Xiaomi 12T Pro weighs 205 grams with a thickness of 8.6mm and a size of 6.7 inches. The back and front panels are protected with Gorilla Glass 5 and the middle frame is made of plastic. Due to the semi-curved frame and good weight balance, the 12T Pro is not an uncomfortable phone, but it is not a light or small phone at all. The body is matte and of high quality and conveys a premium feeling. On the back panel, the camera lenses are placed in a rectangular frame, which is similar to the design of the Xiaomi 12. In the front panel, the selfie camera is placed in the form of a punch hole on the top of the flat screen, and 87% of the front panel is the display. But in terms of water and dust resistance, this device is equipped with IP53, which is resistant to small drops, and this is not good at all at this price. The display of this device is Crystal Res AMOLED with a density of 446 ppi, which supports Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus content and has the ability to display more than 68 billion colors. The contrast and sharpness of the display is excellent and the colors are close to reality and dynamic, and it is completely satisfactory. Like other phones at this price, the display is 120Hz and can be reduced to 30Hz. And it does this correctly and at the right time. The brightness of the display reaches 900 nits, which is not very high, but it is not annoying under sunlight and the content is visible. Xiaomi 12T Pro, like almost all Android phones, has an optical fingerprint sensor under the display, which is fast and accurate, but your hand must be dry and clean. In terms of camera, we see a special camera in this phone. The main lens of the 12T Pro is 200 megapixels with a size of 1.1.2 inches. The ultra-wide lens is only 8 megapixels and the additional 2 megapixel macro lens. In the default mode, every 16 pixels make 1 big pixel and the phone delivers 12.5 megapixel photos. The photos have a lot of detail. The sharpness and colors are dynamic, vibrant and at the same time natural, and the dynamic range is also excellent. 200 megapixel photos have a lot of detail, but the shutter speed slows down, the photos are noisy, and the photo files are very large. You can also record 50 megapixel photos that have less noise and a smaller size. Due to the larger sensor and many pixels, the double zoom of the 12T Pro is excellent and offers the quality of an optical zoom. Portrait photos are recorded in 1x and 2x zoom, and the separation of the subject from the background is excellent and the blurring of the background is relatively natural and satisfactory. The photos in night mode have a little noise, the dynamic range is average, and the details of the dark parts increase as well. The ultra-wide lens is quite normal, the dynamic range and details of the photos are quite average, the colors are accurate and the photos are a little noisy and soft. Unlike the previous year, the macro lens has lost autofocus and excellent quality, and it is completely an additional lens with reasonable quality. The phone's selfie camera is 20 megapixels, the photos have good sharpness and face processing, and the dynamic range is normal. In terms of video, now 12T Pro is equipped with OIS and has better stabilization. You can also record videos at 8K 24 frames per second and 4K 60 frames per second. Xiaomi 12T Pro is the cheapest phone with a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 so far and has 8 or 12 GB of LPDDR5 RAM. The heaviest tasks and game that can be expected from a phone can be performed on this device easily and without lag or slowness. As you know, the Plus version of this generation of a Snapdragon has become more stable, which along with good cooling system has made the 12T Pro have a relatively stable performance. Of course, during long and heavy use, heating and performance drop is completely felt. This device comes with 128 to 512 GB of fast UFS 3.1 memory, and there is no memory card. In terms of software, this device comes with Android 12 and MIUI 13.1 and has 3 years of software support. MIUI is a relatively heavy user interface that has its own bugs, but according to my experience, it is a smooth and good user interface that has a lot of personalization capabilities and useful features, and you may even communicate with it more than others. But the next problem is pre-installed apps and ads in the UI, both of which takes about 5 minutes to remove. But most people are not tech geeks like you, so they don't remove it. Like almost all new Android phones, the 12T Pro has a 5000 mAh battery. This phone does not need to be charged for a full day in semi-heavy usage, which is a reasonable performance, but the advantage of this phone is the 120 watt hypercharger that is included in the box, which fully charges the phone in just 22 minutes. Which is almost unrivaled, but you might think that this is going to destroy the phone's battery. But Xiaomi has really performed well in the field of fast charging and charging in general. It is interesting to know that the damage rate of Xiaomi's fast charging batteries is much less than that of Samsung. The main problem of the Xiaomi 12T Pro battery is that it does not support wireless charging, which is important for some. The 12T Pro stereo speakers are tuned by Harman Kardon and has a very good volume, and on the other hand the sound is clear and pleasant, and there is not much distortion even at high volume. In general, the Xiaomi 12T Pro is a great value phone that I personally recommend, unless you don't like the MIUI interface, or maybe you still don't consider Xiaomi a trustworthy brand. Well, the choice is yours. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you like my content, subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you next video.